And speaking of children and fame, where the hell are Charlie's kids? Because since the moment that he died, his so-called wife seems to have completely devoted herself to gallivanting around the country, from news sets to college football games to firework-powered memorial services, as her kids apparently mourn the loss of their father without their mother. And that's leaving a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, especially as rumors swirl that Erika was spotted at the Peach Bowl in Atlanta with some unidentified male. Now, we don't know the veracity of that claim, but what we do know for an indisputable fact is that there she was, at the Peach Bowl, smiling ear to ear, wearing an Oregon Ducks-themed hat bearing Charlie's initials. This woman is pimping the death of her husband for money and attention, as her children are nowhere to be found. They're definitely not with her. And naturally, of course, that's beginning to raise some pretty serious questions.
It's the first tour stop.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Erika Kirk is on tour.
Bringing on Charlie's legacy, and there is so much noise. I know I've said this many times before, and there will always be noise. Whenever you are over the target, we're in enemy-occupied territory. There will always be noise, and there will always be people that will distract you.
So, Erika Kirk's carefully crafted Mother of the Movement image has finally exploded in her face. And this time, the consequences aren't just a PR nightmare. They are legal, and they are devastating. For months, we've watched Erika stand on stages across the country, preaching about the sanctity of the American family and the duties of motherhood. But while she was busy chasing the spotlight on her national Make Heaven Crowded tour, it looks like the reality at home was a total disaster zone. And now, after a horrific accident that has left one of her children fighting for their life in critical condition, CPS has officially stepped in and placed Erika Kirk under arrest.
Speaking of children and fame, where the hell are Charlie's kids? Because since the moment that he died, his so-called wife seems to have completely devoted herself to gallivanting around the country, from news sets to college football games to firework-powered memorial services, as her kids apparently mourn the loss of their father without their mother. And that's leaving a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, especially as rumors swirl that Erika was spotted at the Peach Bowl in Atlanta with some unidentified male. Now, we don't know the veracity of that claim, but what we do know for an indisputable fact is that there she was, at the Peach Bowl, smiling ear to ear, wearing an Oregon Ducks-themed hat bearing Charlie's initials. This woman is pimping the death of her husband for money and attention, as her children are nowhere to be found. They're definitely not with her. And naturally, of course, that's beginning to raise some pretty serious questions, like, does Erika even have custody of these kids at all? And on that note, we got some pretty interesting information from Representative Anna Paulina Luna on a recent episode of the PBD podcast, where Luna claimed that Erika had actually lost custody of her children.
Because at the end of the day, she did lose her husband. She lost her kids. Like, I was just with her at the White House, and she's, that's anyone. If that happened to your wife, my husband, like, it's devastating.
Yeah. She does appear to be authentically devastated.
The real shocker here isn't just the accident itself. It's the fact that the narrative Erika has been selling us since Charlie's death is starting to unravel at the seams. People are looking at the timestamps, the tour dates, and the flight logs, and they're asking one simple question: how could she let this happen? Erika spent the last year trying to convince every donor and supporter that she was the godly, grieving widow who was putting her children first while carrying the torch for her late husband. That's the image she's been selling. But the CPS filings and the police reports, they're telling a whole different story. One that suggests Erika wasn't just a busy CEO. She was an absent mother who might have prioritized her own rising stardom over the safety of her own babies. As y'all know, Erika has been on this high-octane tour, stopping at universities and megachurches, telling everyone how disciplined and focused she is on saving the next generation. She wasn't just saying it as a talking point. She wanted everyone to believe she was the ultimate example of a traditional woman. But if the logs from her security detail tell us anything, it's that Erika was living her best life as a political celebrity, jet-setting from Florida to Arizona to Ohio, while her two toddlers, who are barely out of diapers, were being passed around like luggage between rotating nannies and TPUSA staffers. The accident happened at their Scottsdale residence while Erika was over 2,000 miles away. Reports indicate it was a preventable incident involving the home's pool area during a shift change. We're hearing that one child is currently in critical condition, and the details coming out of the hospital are heartbreaking. But here is where it gets messy. CPS didn't just show up to check on the kids. They showed up with a warrant for Erika's arrest the moment she touched down back in Arizona. Why? Because the investigators found inconsistencies in her story. She claimed she had around-the-clock high-level supervision for those kids. But the metadata on the household security footage and the statements from the staff suggest a much more chaotic environment. It turns out that while Erika was on stage talking about protecting children from the world, she wasn't even protecting her own from her own backyard. Now, here's the part Erika consistently skips past when she talks about her sacrifices for the movement. Her history of being away from home overlaps with some very questionable moments. People started digging into her travel schedule, and it turns out that over the last 90 days, Erika has been home for less than 2 weeks total. The more people unpack the timeline, the more they find these holes in her narrative. She's been trying to convince the TPUSA board and the world that she's this pious, home-centered Christian woman, but the evidence suggests she was addicted to the applause. And this is where things get uncomfortable. Critics are asking, if she could boldly lie about how much she was actually present for her kids, what else has she been lying about since Charlie's death? There are rumors swirling, and let's be clear, these are speculations for now, that some of the people she hired to watch her kids weren't even vetted professionals. They were young, inexperienced volunteers from the organization. If that's true, it calls into question her entire judgment as a leader. Because you don't leave your children with interns so you can go get a standing ovation in Ohio. You just don't. But here is where the story takes a turn that sounds like a political thriller. While Erika is currently dealing with the legal fallout and the potential loss of her parental rights, the same names keep surfacing in the background of this tragedy. We're talking about the leadership transition at TPUSA. While Erika is getting dragged by the media and facing reckless endangerment charges, there are people within her own circle who seem to be moving forward as if she's already gone. It's almost like they were waiting for her to trip up. Was this accident a tragic result of her own negligence? Absolutely. But the speed at which the leaks about her absence hit the press, that feels deliberate. It feels like someone had this leverage in their pocket and waited for the exact moment Erika was at her weakest to pull the trigger. Now, Erika's image is shattered. She's looking to the people who swore they had her back for support, but they're acting like they don't know her. The board is reportedly in crisis mode, and there is already talk of a replacement. The question hanging in the air now is whether Erika is finally being exposed for her own choices, or if she's being pushed out of the way by the very machine she helped build. At the end of the day, regardless of the politics or the movement, there is a child in a hospital bed in critical condition, and a mother who spent so much time trying to save the country that she might have lost her own family in the process. Is the state overreaching with this arrest? Or did Erika Kirk finally hit the wall that everyone saw coming? She tried to play the part of the perfect, godly leader, but you can't run a revolution and a nursery at the same time if you aren't willing to actually be there. The timestamps don't lie, the metadata doesn't lie. And right now, the truth is looking very, very ugly for Erika Kirk. I want to know what you guys think. Is this a case of a mother who made a tragic mistake under immense pressure? Or is this the inevitable result of someone who put fame before her own children? Was this really on her? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're going to keep a close eye on the court dates and the CPS filings. Stay tuned because this is far from over.